So, Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm talking about Lord Nityananda, and I'm talking about his Tattva, like the spiritual substance or identity of Lord Nityananda. So, Prabhuji, I could not read anything, but my source was one of the lectures by Amrendra Prabhu. Actually, Raksha Mataji had shared it yesterday in the group, and he had taken the whole talk from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, he is quoting Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and some of the other acharyas that have written many songs about in glorification of Lord Nityananda. But mainly it's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Starting from the very beginning, we understand that we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Krishna in golden complexion in this Kali Yuga, hidden incarnation of Krishna. And it is mentioned in the scriptures. It was predicted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come and he will deliver the fallen souls of this Kali Yuga. It is very nicely described that he will be born to, that this incarnation will be born to a Brahman. He'll be a Viprasuta or a son of a Brahman. And he will come not alone, but with his associates, just like Krishna always does with his associates. And he will be born in the village of Nadia. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that he'll come with a very transcendental personal associate who will be his brother. He says, Sange Bhai Avaduta. So Lord Nityanand is often described as Avadut. Avadut means transcendental. So this will be the transcendental brother of this Krishna's incarnation that will appear in Kali Yuga. So, so to understand the tattva of Lord Nityananda, we have to start from Krishna. And we know that Krishna performs pastimes in two main locations. One is Vrindavan, and then other is Mathura and Dwarka. So in Vrindavan, the mood of Krishna is, when people are serving him, they're exchanging very loving, sweet, they're having very loving and sweet pastimes with him. Whereas in Mathura and Dwarka, there is the mood of awe and reverence. But I think from all the talks we have heard so far from Atul Prabhu, we understand that that form of Krishna in Vrindavan, where people are exchanging loving relationships, is the original form, the root form, which is called Mool Roop or Swayam Roop of Bhagwan. So that form is called the Swayam Bhagwan. And all other expansions are coming from that original form of Krishna in Vrindavan. All other expansions come from that. So that form in Vrindavan is the one that has so many unlimited opulences, unlimited pastimes, unlimited qualities and attributes, and is the source, is the root of all the expansions. So, so since we're talking about the Tattva, this will get a little complicated. So please have patience with me. I'll try to explain as nicely as I can. And I read actually these shlokas from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This describes very nicely how the expansions take place from Krishna in Vrindavan. So Krishna in Vrindavan has two primary expansions. They are called Vaibhav Prakash and Prabhav Prakash. Vaibhav Prakash, so what is the difference? So Kaviraj Goswami explains that Vaibhav Prakash is, well, let's do Prabhav Prakash first. Prabhav Prakash is that expansion of Krishna where the mood and complexion stays the same between the expansion and Krishna himself. So what does that mean? So we know that Krishna has a bluish black complexion, right? It's described as complexion of a freshly formed rain-filled monsoon cloud or Ghanshyam Roop. So these incarnations also have the same complexion. And the mood of Krishna is to be loved, to be served, to be the ultimate enjoyer. He's the object of all affections given by all the jivas. And that roop, that mood stays the same in these expansions of Prabhav Prakash. So example of this expansions is like Krishna expands himself in Rasa dance. He expands into many more Krishnas, and they all have the same mood and same complexion. but they are not all of them are the mool roop or the original form. There are a lot of those are the expansions. Now, web of Prakash, which is the other primary expansion, is the one where mood and complexion, both the things are different. So mood is that of a servant. So with Prabhav Prakash, the mood was to be served, to be loved. Here, the mood is to serve and to give love, to give loving service, devotion, and to serve Krishna in every possible way. So the mood is that of a servant, and complexion is like that of is different. Complexion is like that of a spring cloud, not a monsoon cloud, not a bluish black complexion, but whitish complexion like that of a freshly formed spring cloud. And this incarnation is Lord Balram. So since we're talking about Nityanand Prabhu, we can understand Lord Nityanand if we understand Lord Balram. So that's why I'm talking about these incarnations, because we have to understand what is Lord Balram's tattva, what is his mood. So his mood is that of servant, and that mood is described as Sevak Abhiman. Whereas the mood that Krishna has to be served, to be loved, to be the center of all affection, to be the object of all affection, that mood is called Swayam Abhiman. So Sevak Abhiman and Swayam Abhiman. So web of Prakash is the incarnation from Krishna, which has different mood and different complexion. But all of the qualities, all of the opulences, everything remains same. Just like Krishna has unlimited opulences, unlimited qualities and attributes, they all stay same with Lord Balram, except the mood and the complexion differs. So in this way, this expansion of Krishna, which expands everywhere, in all places, all circumstances, in all situations, the mood of that incarnation is to just serve Krishna, keep Krishna in center at all times. So that that web of Prakash, or Lord Balram, we also call Rohini Nandan, is the expansion in Vrindavan, right? So the original Krishna is in Vrindavan, and the expansion, the first expansion, Lord Balram, web of Prakash, is also in Vrindavan. When that expansion, or Lord Balram expands in Mathura and Dwarka to serve Krishna, then he is called Mool Sankarshan. So this is again a little bit technical. So now we are further describing more expansions of Lord Balram, how he expands in different places, different situations, and just for the purpose of serving Krishna. So when Krishna is going to Mathura and Dwarka, Lord Balram is expanding as Mool Sankarshan. And in Vaikuntha, the spiritual planets, this Mool Sankarshan is expanding as Mahasankarshan. And this Mahasankarshan is the one that manifests various Vaikuntha planets, all the jivas that serve various forms of Krishna in those Vaikuntha planets. So there are jivas that are serving Lakshmi Narayan and other authorities in various Vaikuntha planets. So all those jivas are being manifested by this Mahasankarshan. Okay. So what did we talk about so far? Web of Prakash in Vrindavan, Mool or which is basically Lord Balram, Mool Sankarshan in Mathura and Dwarka, Mahasankarshan in Vaikunthas, and from Mahasankarshan are those next three expansions which we talked about yesterday briefly, is Mahavishnu or Karnodakshay Vishnu. And Karnodakshay Vishnu gives rise to various universes. In each universe, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is expanded from Karnodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu further expands as Shirodakshay Vishnu and enters into each and every living entity, each and every atom, everywhere, into us as Paramatma. So that is the Shirodakshay Vishnu. So all these expansions are basically coming from Lord Balram, who is in Vrindavan. And these expansions are the ones that are manifesting various jivas in service of Lord Krishna. So in Vrindavan, all the dham itself is manifested by Lord Balram. All the people in Vrindavan that are giving affection and love to Krishna are manifested by Lord Balram. All the objects, for example, Krishna's clothes, Krishna's shoes, Krishna's jewelry, flute, they're all expanded by Lord Balram in service of Krishna. So he serves Krishna in every possible way. And similarly, all the jivas in Mathura and Dwarka are also manifested by Lord Balram in service of Krishna. And in Vaikuntha planets, and then in our universes, all the jivas, everything is manifested by Lord Balram, and the purpose is to serve Krishna. So we are basically expanded by Lord Balram, and we have been put in service of Krishna. We just have chosen to turn our face away from Krishna and neglecting our original duty, which was basically we were manifested for the purpose of serving Krishna. So now, the main, so we understand, we've been reading in Bhagavatam that every jiva has one eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna, and they serve Krishna. Once you become a pure devotee, you understand your spiritual relationship with Krishna. You understand the rasa in which you're supposed to serve Krishna. We've read that in past few days. So we understand that there are 5 primary rasas in which a jeev can serve Krishna. And one discovers their rasa when they become that elevated or pure consciousness and become a pure devotee. But the difference between normal jivas and Lord Balram is that even though we are also for the service of Krishna and Lord Balram is also for the service of Krishna, but the difference is that Lord Balram serves Krishna in all rasas, in all the 5 primary rasas. So we know that 5 primary rasas are Shantras, Dasaras, Sakyaras, Madhuryaras, and Vatsalyaras. So I think everybody's familiar with those 5 rasas. So Lord Balram serves in Shantras. Shantras is basically the rasa of neutrality, where he serves in like a neutral position in form of, let's say, the dham. So let's say Vrindavan dham is is expansion from Lord Balram, is manifested by Lord Balram in the service of Krishna. So and again, like I said, his clothes, ornaments, shoes, everything is manifested by Lord Balram. So those are all serving Krishna in Shantras. So it's described as asan, which is the dham or the seat, vasan, the clothes, bhushan, ornaments, paduka, the shoes, chamar, and chatra. So the umbrella and various paraphernalia that are used in the worship of Krishna are all manifested by Lord Balram. So they are all serving in Shantras. Then he also serves in Dasaras. Dasaras is like massaging Krishna's feet, Krishna's back, those kind, and like when he comes as Lakshman, he's doing complete service, giving complete service to Lord Ram. So Dasaras. Sakyaras is when he plays around with Krishna, jokes around with Krishna, like in Vrindavan. So that is that mood of Lord Balram with Krishna is the Sakyaras. That rasa is Sakyaras. And when he takes care of Krishna as a brother in absence of Yashoda Mai or in absence of Nand Maharaj or Rohini, then he is serving in Vatsalya ras. So he's in the mood of protection towards Krishna. So he becomes overprotective of Krishna. And it is said that he protects Krishna like eyelid protects the eyeball. So that is the Vatsalya ras. And he also serves in Madhurya or Shringaras when he expands as Anang Manjari, who is the sister of Srimati Radharani. So he also serves in that ras. So he's serving Krishna in many, in Vrindavan, in many rasas. Not like, so that's one of the difference between our service and his service to Krishna, that we serve in only one rasa and he serves Krishna in many moods. And we also understand that Lord Balram expands as Anant Shesh. And Anant Shesh is holding all these universes we talked about. All these universes are manifested ultimately by Lord Balram through Mahavishnu, through Karnodaksha Vishnu. And these universes are held on top of Anant Shesha's head. He's holding them stable. So Shesh, Anant Shesh. Shesh means what is remainder, what is left over. Anant means something that has no beginning or no end. So he does endless service, gives endless service to Krishna. And then whatever is left over, Shesh, is also taken care of by him. So after all this service, all serving Krishna in so many moods, he does whatever service is left over. And he's also called Shesha or remainder because once, even when all the universes and jivas are, all the universes, the cosmic manifestation is annihilated, he still remains. He still remains to do the, so all these universes, everything is manifested for Krishna's service. So even when they're all annihilated, he still remains to keep serving Krishna. So, so that is his mood of service. And even in, so as we, when jivas come to these universes, we forget our relationship with Krishna and we forget our service towards Krishna, which was our original purpose. So then Lord Balram comes as Guru Tattva. He comes as the spiritual master. He comes as Guru to remind us of that service and gives us that service of Krishna. He gives us the Krishna prema and makes us, puts us in service of Krishna. So he gives us, so Balram, as you know, means spiritual strength. So Guru, in the form of Guru Tattva, he gives us the spiritual strength to be able to realize our relationship with Krishna and keep serving him. So that's his another role. He's serving in so many roles that even in this, in the universes, he comes as Guru Tattva to help us. So coming to Lord Nityananda, so we know that Lord Nityananda is expansion or incarnation of Lord Balram. But the key difference between Lord Balram's previous incarnations as Lakshman or as Balram himself, those incarnations were all very fierce, very angry mood. Lakshman was in an angry mood when he was, for example, when he cut the ears and nose of Shrupnaka, and very fierce in protecting Mother Sita and Lord Ram at all times, in protecting them from demons and whatnot in the forest. So he was in a very fierce mood. Similarly, Lord Balram, if you remember those stories from Krishna book, how he, with his plow, he dragged Hastinapur when he got very upset. He killed Romharshana Sutta when Romharshana Sutta was sitting on the Vyasasana and insulted Lord Balram. He was killed by Lord Balram. So, and you know that Romharshana Sutta is father of Sud Goswami, who we will read about in Bhagavatam in coming chapters. And as Anant Shesha, also he's in angry mood. He's always hissing and protecting Krishna. But the difference is that Lord Nityananda is very merciful. He's on the quite contrary to the other incarnations, very merciful, very tolerant, very loving, most compassionate incarnation of Lord Balram. And he comes in the most magnanimous form, giving us Harinam, spreading the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very tolerant. He tolerated the atrocities of Jagai Madai. As you may know, Madai hit Lord Nityananda on head with an empty pot of alcohol, and Nityananda Prabhu started bleeding. And this was, and he tolerated that. And his only intention was to give these fallen souls love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Harinam and deliver them. So in this way, he comes in Nityananda Prabhu's form to deliver the fallen souls in Kali Yuga, and comes as a very, very merciful, compassionate form. He has so much power, like you just understood that he is the incarnation from Lord Balram, from whom all the universes are manifesting, all the jivas are manifesting, all the Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay, Shirodakshay, Vishnu are expanding. So all the expansions are coming from him. And he has power beyond measure over, he has same opulence, the same attributes as Krishna himself. And he has so much power, but yet in this incarnation of Lord Nityananda, he goes door to door begging people, begging jivas to take Harinam, to accept the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and tries to put them in service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Giving, he's almost begging to them. So as we were singing the song today, Akrodha Nityananda. So he's the Akrodha, or does not get angry. He's most merciful form of Lord Balram. Prabhuji, do I have time or should we stop for now?
Mata, you can continue for 5 more minutes, and then if there are things, we can take it tomorrow. But thank you so much. You're explaining very nicely. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji. I just have very little bit left, so I'll just try to finish. So, so basically, in this incarnation, it is described that he is expanding as his own best servant to give service to the jivas. He is expanding as he's giving service to jivas actually, and he is in the mode of we know that he's in the mood of servant to Krishna, but in this he's acting as a servant to all the jivas in an effort to give them the harinam. So all our and Amrinder Prabhu describes that all our acharyas, whether it's Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami or Vrindavan Das Thakur who wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat, they're all so much influenced, inspired by Lord Nityananda. Actually, Vrindavan Das Thakur said that I have so much to write about Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Bhagavat that I am not sure if in this lifetime I will even be able to get to describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because I am not able to stop writing about Lord Nityananda. He was so inspired by Lord Nityananda. And similarly, all our acharyas have written so many songs. Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, our Jiva Goswami, they've all glorified Nityananda Prabhu so much. And everybody instructs to take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu because he's so merciful. He gives shelter to all the fallen, all the shelterless souls of this world. And they describe that there is no possibility of getting Radha Krishna without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Radharani, who we are aspiring for, she will not accept anybody's service unless they appeal to Nityananda Prabhu first. So it is described that we have to appeal to Lord Nityananda's mercy, and he is so merciful. So it is waste of a life, like we were reading in the song today. It is wasteful human life if we do not tap into that mercy. So he has causeless. He is somebody who does not get offended easily at all. Even with Jagai Madai, he did not get offended. And if you just call out to him, chant his name, cry out his name, even once, it is said that even Vaishnava prads or sins of many lifetimes will be eradicated. So he is most merciful. And if we neglect him or his worship or his chanting, appealing to him in this life, then there is no hope of making progress. Because Radha Krishna will not really accept any service unless we go through Nityananda Prabhu first. And so also all the gurus are the expansion, like we said that he's the Guru Tattva. So all the gurus are the expansions of all the liberated souls. They're expansions of Nityananda Prabhu. They give us they put us in service of Krishna. They cleanse our consciousness so that Radharani and Krishna can do their pastimes. They can stay in our heart, because it's hard to keep them in our heart if our consciousness is contaminated. So it is his causeless mercy that we can be uplifted. And there was one story that Amrin Prabhuji shared about, if you remember, the killing of Vyomasura, how the fight was going on with Krishna for a long time, and the whole earth was shaking. The earth was getting unstable. So Lord Balram came and stabilized the earth. And when he stabilized the earth, Krishna was immediately able to defeat Vyomasura. So he said, similarly, our consciousness is very unstable. Sometimes we become materially conscious, sometimes we become Krishna conscious. And we have so many desires and so many contaminations that we keep fluctuating back and forth. So we have a very unstable situation, just like the earth, and on which Krishna and Vyomasura were fighting. And so unless we stabilize our consciousness, which only Lord Balram or Nityananda Prabhu can achieve, once we have stabilized consciousness through their mercy, then Krishna can prevail in our heart. So this was an analogy given by Amrinder Prabhu. Another there was one pastime described when Nityanand Prabhu did display anger when one of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee, actually Srivas Thakur's wife, Malini Mataji, was offended by somebody. So Malini Mataji had prepared very nice prasadam to offer, and she had really toiled after it. And then there was a crow that came and stole he took the bowl and flew away with it. So she was upset, and when Nityanand Prabhu saw this, he shouted to the crow to come back, to bring the bowl of prasadam back. And as he shouted, the crow came back and delivered the bowl back to Malini Mataji, and he fell down at Nityanand Prabhu's feet, and Nityanand Prabhu gave him his, and he delivered him. He said that you have to start chanting or something like that. So he was, and when Malini Mataji saw that, she immediately fainted, because this was an unprecedented act by Nityanand Prabhu. He never gets angry, but he got really upset at the crow as he was stealing Krishna's prasadam. And not only that, he made the crow come back and take apologies. So there was one instance of when he displayed anger, but other than that, we have to seek his mercy and understand that all our gurus are Lord Nityananda's expansions, and treat them as such and offer all respects and prayers to them. So, Prabhuji, that's all I have to share. Nityanand Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Amazing. Very nice. Anybody has any questions?
How could you memorize so much? It was very nice.
Sorry, I was saying it's all written, Mataji. I've not memorized anything. I just heard that one lecture and just try to convey it.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Thank you for doing all that work, study.
Okay, any questions?
Okay, anybody has any questions? Okay, so Mataji, everybody's shared their appreciation for the wonderful job you did. And I think we can continue tomorrow for more questions and more insight in this. And then Raksha Mataji will be sharing thereafter.